Welcome to another Chess 24 Blitz Banter. It's 12:30 PM UK time, Sunday. Let's go to the challengers, and Colin Cohn is the first challenger today. Okay. Hi Colin. Hope you're ready. And we'll play an Albin counter gambit because I'm rebellious. I know it's bad. But a lot of people don't know the theory, so you get an exciting game, yeah? That's my excuse. I mean, it's theoretically bad, right? But I'm just rebellious. I also like liberating pawn breaks. They're my favourites. I've realised from all my past games, my most emotional moves happen to be liberating pawn breaks. I don't think it's a coincidence. In fact, one of my favourite moves of all time is Kasparov's Gambit in Sicilian against Karpov, that d5 Kasparov Gambit. Liberation, I think. Okay, so here d4 is under fire for sure, and I can't play the check because this nifty knight maneuver. Can I try and support it as b4? No, it isn't b4 yet. I'll try and support it. Yes, the Albin counter gambit. It's very interesting as a blitz weapon. Let's loosen up in the blitz context. We don't have to play classical openings all the time. In fact, I'll try and avoid it most of the time. In fact, my greatest exposure to having to analyse classical games is in the World Championship matches. But we all know, often the most dull ever games are played in a World Championship match. Okay. This doesn't look clever because of the check. And in fact, knight f7 as queen takes c5. So I'm going to carry on with... This looks terrible. Oh, God. That was a good move, wasn't it? That really was. Oh, is there nothing I can do here? Wow. I'll develop and lose another pawn here. This is an interesting move. Knight takes e5. Yes, it's an interesting move. Now I'm hoping that this f file will be dangerous later. You know what? I'm thinking I should have played more solidly in my first game. I'm thinking this might not be so funny even actually at this rate. After knight takes e5, yes, I didn't notice knight takes e5, but actually it seems to be a good move. Knight takes e5 for that check, yes. No, this isn't what I had in mind. Actually, this isn't what I had in mind with the Albin counter gambit. I don't know. I don't know why this happens. This is just unfair. This shouldn't have happened. I'll try and probe for some weaknesses. This is just totally unfair. Outrageous. Even bishop b4 check is ruled out. I have to go for the hack attack. Bishop h3, exchange off the bishops. Queen h3, knight g4, that sort of business. I'm all right. I should be, shouldn't I? If I can play knight h5, there's bishop c7, and then what? Nothing. So I'll protect this for the moment, out of necessity. I want to play knight h5. That's not happening, is it? Not even knight g4. This knight's been ruling out a lot of things in this game. I mean, what is this? Positional play? The clock ticks though. The clock ticks. Can they do it annoying? I don't think it's annoying. Is it? Maybe. G5, G4. Well, in the circumstances, it marks H3. These squares are weakened. Oh, Gordon Bennett. What is this? I'll try and avoid 97. Also, actually, hold on a sec. Is there some merit to knight g4? There's h2 is weak. f5 would be hit, but it's protected. There's bishop e5. Oh god, this is going to get nasty. No, bishop e5, I take the knight. In fact, why didn't I just take the knight just there? That was dumb. He wasn't mating or anything. I could have just taken the knight. Like here, I can take the knight as well. Okay. I thought he was being super clever with knight e7. And given I've got more time, I could have at least invested a minute around here on a move at the moment. I can invest an entire minute without running out of time. Which maybe I should around here. Okay, I'm not getting mated. Bishop e5 is a concern. Oh, bishop e5. Bishop d6. Just unpin with bishop d6. Get away. Get with this pin right out of my sight. But then there's rook f5. Well, there's queen g6, and there's rook f6, and there's queen takes, and there's mates. Double check mate. Could end it like that. That wouldn't be that funny. There's a better way with queen e6. Bishop d6, rook f5, queen e6. Rook f6, I'm going to play rook f6. The thing is, bishop d6, let's imagine rook f5, queen e6. Let's imagine d5. Maybe I have to take the two pieces off there, just to be done with this attack. So rook f5, queen e6. d5, I think I'll just play queen takes e5. Yeah, because I'll have f2 later. I've got. I think that'll be sufficient. d5, I can also try and consider a saner move like queen e7 maybe. It's going for the mate. Can I play rook f7? Please don't make me with 1 second to go. That's so bad when that happens. I'm on f2. No, I'm not really threatening anything, but there's no rook e6 or anything. I'm looking at all the naughty forcing moves. Oh, there's rook h4. Should be looking at that one. h6. Then rook h7. We're getting two rooks for the queen. There's bishop f8. I'm just running bishop f8. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't advertise the opening like that. I would find better if I was going to try and sell a DVD on the Alban counter gambit. I'd pick Crushing Black Victories, and I would kind of ignore all of these sort of games, which are like 2 pawns down for nothing. But anyway, thanks for the game, Colin. Yeah. Okay. Distobato. Hi, Distobato. Right, I'm going to play classically. I'm not going to lose any pawns here. Just for the classical. The classically outraged on watching the first game. I'll give you something as well. More classical, and it's a 3-minute game as well. It's a 3-minute. This is pretty standard. Even Botvinnik's played this. It has a seal of Botvinnik credibility. I'll play f5, f4, and wonder why would white want to play like this. Because I'm sort of squishing on the king side without too much counterplay. I'll carry on with g5, knight g6, g4, f3, and then try and put a knight on e2 to mate when bishop's on h1. That's the general plan. Okay. Play for d5. Well, is d5... Oh no, d5... is it actually? Might be possible. I can also take... Because if... Oh, he's protecting his knights. That looks okay. Get this rook out of the firing line of the bishop. I think this is okay. I'm on d3 here. Yes, I haven't even sacrificed anything, and I've got a reasonably good position. It's amazing. I didn't know you could do this in chess. Okay, so e5, there's knight e5, knight g6. And getting a nice position still. f3 is actually on the cards. f3 is on the cards. So g4 is ruled out, is it? What if I take and then g4, knight g4, queen g5? Seems to be winning a piece, actually. Coming to think about it, just from a theoretical perspective, because h3 there's h5. Now, if after g4 the queen moved back, I mean, it looks all pretty good. In fact, g4 immediately just seems to be winning a piece because of this queen g5 resource. Knight takes. Yeah, we have queen g5 here, and then h5 to follow. This is a very nasty pin, kind of self-inflicted. Yeah, it's not good. I can play king g6 here. Bishop f4 is rook h8 potentially, or I can just play more simply, just queen h5, just to get the queens off. C4 just to undermine the pawn chain, or just keep the exchange here and hit d3. c4 d4 is not too clever. Seems safe enough. Actually, I could just take this now. Right, fine. Well, I mean, I can sort of do quite a bit of stuff here. I don't think it needs too much. Protect things. I suppose there's king g3. Am I worried? Taking the centre here. Come on, mate. Alright, I'll win this rook instead. Alright, thanks for the game, Stabato. Thanks for the game. Work hard, play hard. Hi there. Work hard, play hard. Are you ready? Did you do the tick box to create a game? Okay, we might have to abort this game. I'll give you a minute. Hold on a sec. Alright, we'll go on to the next game. Please challenge later. Just make sure you have the tick box. You know when you challenge, the tick box for creating a new game? Okay, I'll stick with e4, I think, for the moment. Generally, I'll stick with e4. I don't know. It's kind of more tactical quite often. Although d4, I mean, other moves are great as well. I play everything in blitz, really, but I'll play e4 here. Hello? Alright, is anyone ready today? I mean, seriously, is anyone ready? Have people got a hangover over the exciting, mega exciting World Championship matches? Or something? It wasn't that exciting, game 2. But anyway, not in my view, but anyway. Okay, I'm going to abort this this game. Okay, please can someone be ready? Re-challenge later, yeah? Tricanti. Right, I'll just go and get a coffee, I think, at this rate. Have we got a bug in the system today? Okay. Oh, sorry, the game did not show up. Oh, all right. Well, I don't know if we've got a bug, software bug today, a new one or something. You can challenge later if you want, yeah? Right, I'm playing again, just to hold d4. I'm gaining a tempo, and also gaining a tempo for naughty business with bishop h3 here. Now, I've even seen recently positional players do this, so it's got a seal of approval, I think. Even stronger players have played this. I've seen in blitz, this sort of thing, just to go to h3. I mean, if you can do it, what's the objection? You weaken the light squares, but it's stopped here. I get it, it's stopped. Can I kick that knight and then play bishop h3? I'm not losing by force if I play bishop h3. There's no crushing refutation, I hope, at the moment. If I played h5, h4, g5 takes h4, looks like a lot of fun, so I'm going to play it. I'm not sure if it's any good or not, but it looks fun. Here, e3, knight e6. The knight's poised for naughty business with knight f4 maybe. Okay, on b7, I guess I better hold that. You know what? Knight g5, queen moves. f4, I'm threatening queen h3 check already. Already there is coordination apparent. Now, would he take with the pawn to have c-file pressure? Can I not just do this anyway? Just for f4? Isn't this of any concern getting a queen to h3 here. Actually, maybe not. You know, maybe I should do something else. I'm wondering, because my king's in the center. f4 might be a bit risky, because obviously after the check there's nothing. If I play h4 first though, this is more scary surely, because there's hg, f4, queen h3, and we're crashing down. I'm crashing down to h2. So knight takes e7, king takes. Just leave the queen poised for h3. Aha. Aha. I can do this without knight f6 check. That's the good news. That would be embarrassing, winning the queen. So does that end my attack, this f4? Does that end it totally? If there was an attack. I'll install the pawn instead. A future investment for endgames. Or is it weak? It's not immediately weak. There's no knight g5 just yet. Well, I like taking out that bishop and having the form pawn. Generally, I think that's a good thing. c6 seems possible. Just to kick this knight. I don't think I'm dropping e5 just yet. I would say e takes is coming around the corner. I'm on e3. If he ever took on e7, I would say e takes is around the corner for queen e3. And also hitting the bishop. The bishop's protected at the moment. Fine. Can I play like d5 here? Is that any good? What if I just takes here? I would like to get that diagonal. This might be better. Just to take. And then play d5. I'm just wondering about this diagonal. d5. All this e3 square looks a little bit on the tasty side as well. If I have a pawn on d4, I'd be very happy, because it would be like blunting this bishop. I can establish the outpost e3, very aggressive outpost. So I think d4, knight moves c5, and I've got a very aggressive outpost square. Blunting the bishop. Okay, so positionally, yeah, this looks fine. Just in case a5, I'm ready for that. I just need to use the e3, or the e file. I think if I just use the e file, in fact this knight can go like this. I think I might even do that. Or just keep it away for a bit. Let's go knight g8, f6 to g4 to e3, and also double the rooks. That's the plan. As long as my king is not on the diagonal for queen e3, this bishop's there. It's not a pin just yet. So knight f6 to g4. Probably no point doubling the rooks, because he's going to exchange one of them off soon. Maybe there's more point for knight f6 to g4, just highlighting e3. Oh, I have to protect that then. Okay. Right. Maybe the king was better there. There's no. I like he's marked out all of these check squares, and it's also providing knight g1 as a resource. Meanwhile, I can play rook e3, knight g1, rook e8. Let's imagine he takes. I can play queen e8, threatening queen a8. If he takes, I'm on the bishop. I think this is a good idea to essentially sacrifice the h3 pawn. I think as long as knight g5 isn't totally destructive. Now b2 and d3 are hanging. And if my queen ever got to a8 with that form pawn, it's going to be end of game. But the immediate concern for white here is surely d3 dropping. With d3 I'm on f1. There's no immediate massive full signal move or anything along this diagonal as far as I'm aware. So I'm going to take this and hit the rook. Now queen e4 is possible as well. Well, the rook's hanging. Knight g5 isn't a killer threat just yet. The king has h6, but I can take. Okay, thanks for the game, Tricanti. Thanks for the game. Kaz. Hi, Kaz. I don't know what this is over here. What's this? I don't know what this bit is. Oh, weird. Okay, let's play and try and play maybe a Benoni by transposition. Yes, not the Nimzo, the Benoni. I want a more unstable pawn structure because it's just more fun like this sometimes. So Benoni, Son of Sorrow, peak 1960 usage when Mikhail Tal became world champion. It's peak popularity of the modern Benoni. Here now, yes, I'm playing strange, aren't I, with h5. But you see that knight was like red to a bull. I thought I was going to kick the knight with h4. Knight e5 might be interesting, as well as c4. It's very intriguing in some respects, this position. I just think that the dark squares offer tactical resources at some point. They're going to offer tactical resources, this vacuum of dark square weaknesses, if white's not careful. I want to play h4. The knight's going to h1, right? Where it will apparently be okay to reroute to f2 back to the center. Yeah, Nimzovich has played moves like knight h1 just to reroute to the center. Okay, is there actually any point in playing h4, in fact, if the knight's going to just re-centralize? I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to develop this knight like this for a moment. The thing is, what am I doing with this bishop? I guess there might be concern. Not f4 immediately, I just take here. Alright, he was concerned about that. I don't think it was a big deal. Can I do this? I suppose it marks out g4. So bishop d7, f4 traps the knight. If after takes, that is. No, I've got knight f7. I can play bishop d7, therefore. It's got f7. I'm not sure h3 was necessary. h4 wasn't a big deal threat. I can use that b4 square here. In fact, at this rate, I can play c4 and knight d3 with these knights conspiring for the d3 square. c4 check. How's this bishop e3 hitting the queen? h3, sorry, h3 wasn't addressing h4 anyway. It was just, I think, just covering g4. It wasn't addressing. The knight's prepared to go back to h1 here. c4 is no big deal. Bishop e3, I guess. Well, the bishop. Hang on, it's not a legal move, is it? So it's not a legal move, is it? Yeah, white had to take on g7. Thanks, Kaz. You have to take on g7 there. Sorry about that. I mean, tactics. Okay. I'll disco. I think tactics decide most games, especially in blitz. Actually, just tactics. Forget any deep, profound strategy. It's just raw tactics. Just decide the majority of these games. Yeah. Okay, so Vienna game. I'm not worried when I see this structure. I think the light squares have been compromised, and this is more aggressive than usual. It's not as if my bishop's asleep on g2 here. The bishop's pointing on immediately the light square target, and black is weakening the light squares here. Materially, yes, takes in g5 might make sense with h6, but what if I take here? Isn't this just a waste of time potentially? Because it hasn't addressed any light square concerns. I'm immediately threatening bishop f7 and knight e5 as an example. And there's even extra bonus point light square weaknesses here, potentially. But for the moment, okay, things seem to be covered. Can I not play queen e1 to g3? That seems to be a basic attacking maneuver. The bishop here is hemmed in by the c5 pawn. Black does mark out the d4 square, and knight d4 could be useful hitting the c2. I'm wondering if I should just take it. So knight d4, just take it. Taking with the queen, there's bishop e3. Taking with the pawn, well, knight d5 might be possible. If castles, I think queen g3. Well, here there's a pawn hanging for a start. Knight takes e5, but then queen d4, I guess, is the naughty idea. What about bishop b5 check? Does that make any difference? Or bishop f7, knight e5. Can I refute this? Queen d4, this position. Can I refute it? Bishop e3. Let's follow this. If there's a sting, queen takes e5 at the end of the towel. Queen takes e5. Nah, I can't see it. It's a legitimate trap, it seems. And bishop b5 check. No big deal. I'm thinking just to move the king to threaten knight e5. This just helps my d5 lock and key for d5, surely. Losing the light square bishop isn't the end of the world, surely. Although, not what I had in mind. Maybe black's doing better now, actually. Yeah, okay. He has to address e5, though. Say protects e5, knight d5 is a nice use of the d5 square. Let's do this now. So there's frontal pressure on e5 if he took. If he plays bishop d6, well, there's knight h4. The knight is protected by the queen. I can jump into f5. So let's imagine black protects e5, knight h4. I'm not losing a piece with knight takes d5. I can play, well, okay, a lot of pressure on e5 here, frontally, and the knight. Bishop d6, knight e5, queen e7. I can just retreat back the knight, surely. Aha. Can I not just try and win the pawn anyway? Is there a trap? Is there bishop d6 trying to go for h2? Bishop d6, knight e4. Knight e4, queen e4. There's no queen h4 there. Actually, that's not even possible. Bishop d6, knight e4. The king's still in the center. None of this is possible. The king's still in the center. There's no bishop d6. There's no castling queenside bishop f4. I mean, it's not pleasant, bishop f4 there. Okay, black can be a pawn down with just castling. So bishop f4, bishop d6. Unless I've got some sort of let's do this. So one thing is the attack has been extinguished a bit with the exchanges. I can try and control the e-file. Do I need to keep the tension on? I don't think so. I think I'll just control the e file. I'll welcome 2 rooks for the queen. I think queen e7 is immediately a concern here. Or 2 rooks for the queen. Okay, is it going to be terribly complicated to play the 2 rooks here and coordinate them? Rook e7, they're already coordinating. As long as I don't get back row mated, this should be interesting. Queen g6, rook e7, queen c2, threatening back row mates, rook g7, king h8, h3. Let's imagine h3 check, king h2. There'll be no check on f4 for a moment. I have to be careful about this. There would be a check here on f4. So meanwhile, okay, for the moment, I can play maybe for the d pawn. Queen c4, d6 is virtually winning, as long as I can stop the key checks on dark squares. So h3, the check, king h2, there's no checks. h3, queen c4, d6. Now let's imagine the checks. Check here again. d7 seems decisive. Probably key thing to hold f4 square and use the passed pawn. Queen c1, king h2, queen c4, d6. d6. I can't see any checks. If there's no check on e5 and f4, where are the checks? The rooks control f4 and e5. Where are the checks? Show me the checks. Rook e8. There is a check on f4 after queen takes. Queen f4. Instead of losing the rook, there might be an upgrade path available, rook f8, but that loses that rook instead with queen d6 check. So I'm wondering rook g7. Oh yeah, and just check and then queen. Also, that gives the possibility. Yes, if I take here, king h8, for a start, there's rook e8 check, king takes, and d8. And actually, again, there's no checks there. Okay, so I think I'm going to play this. If I play rook e8, king takes, queen, where are the checks? There has to be a check on e5 or d6 for this to work for black. So surely I can just play check. Takes, queen. I can't see anything. Here goes. I don't think these pawns are good enough over here. Although they might be dangerous, I might be wrong. No, I think I'm getting the b pawn. That seems simple enough. Thanks for the game, Aldisto. Thanks for the game. I had to make sure there was no key checks there. Teg chess. Hi Teg chess. I don't know if we've got some sort of bug today. I'm hoping that you can see the game. Okay, you can. Okay, apparently. Maybe I'll try a Benko Gambit for a bit of variety. It's not such a bad gambit as I dare say like the Alban counter gambit. I've got the most embarrassing positions from the Alban counter gambit, but I'm not so much from the Benko. Yeah, maybe that's an indicator that the Benko might be superior as gambits go. Okay, he's forfeiting the casting rights there. He likes this line with the king to h2. King going to h2. Okay. When I see that move, I'm thinking tactics because of all the weaknesses. That's my immediate thought. Tactics. Okay, there's a check here. I've just missed out on the tactic, actually, haven't I? I need to be looking at this. No big deal. Let's just put the knight here for the moment. One thing is nice about the position for white is d4 control is better than usual. Knight c7, rook b4. Am I up to anything? Yeah, there's nothing, is there? The forcing moves don't do anything. Either rook f4 or bishop c3 don't do anything. There's no standard knight maneuver to d4. Okay, something else has to fit in with this position. There's a decent plan here. What is going on? It's got extra dark square weaknesses. d5 is more vulnerable perhaps than usual. It can be supported with rook d1 at some point. But I'm wondering, knight c7, rook b4, rook b8, queen a8, hitting d5, trying to cause e4 to happen. If I can cause e4 to happen, then d4 is weaker. Okay, can I do this? Well, d5 is immediately weak, and I could have immediately just taken it anyway. Like a dummy. I was just talking about d5. He's just, sorry, I mean, when I say like dummy, I mean me. I should be looking at d5 here. Look at d5. Yes, d5. Even in this position, knight d5, because the bishop's hanging. Knight d5 even in this position. e4 though. Knight f6 safeguards e7 even in this position. And there's a road to the king here on this diagonal. This diagonal. So e4, knight f6. Really, I'm thinking rook b8 and queen a8 just to get onto this diagonal here. Trying to shatter my pawn chain. That's not very nice. Okay. Well, there is knight d5 trying to preserve my pawn chain. It holds e7. And then there's also queen c6 after that. I'm wondering about this. More fancy move than reacting directly to that. It holds e7. If rook d1, there's queen c6. I want to keep the pawn chain because I don't want to lose c5. Now let's see. Imagine rook d1, queen c6. Well, I have things like knight f4 check there. And I'm looking at f3 there. So this looks very desirable. Rook d1, queen c6 initially. The knight's still out of play. As long as it's not taking on c5, this knight's a little bit out of play. I'm threatening knight takes e5 here, surely. Knight takes e5. There might be a double check. King moves, queen g2 mate. Double check. Yeah, the king hasn't got f1. King here, queen g2 mate. On king g3, okay, take here. I see, there's queen takes b4. Queen takes b4 is threatened. So there's no time for knight e5 there, queen b4. Except there's queen takes f3 check there. And then rook takes a2 is dangerous. So even that seems to be working. But an alternative is knight f4 check, if I needed one. What am I going on about? What am I going on about? No, he's on d5. I think I can simply just take here and take here. Queen takes b4. Fine. I'll play queen f3. The knight's pinned. There's no knight e5. Queen b4, queen f3. Queen b4, queen f3, yeah. King moves rook a2. I'm on f2 quite quickly. In fact, I just take the queen, don't I? I've unpinned. I just take the queen. Okay, thanks for the game, Tag Chess. As I missed, we've been talking about programming before this session. Fascinating programming. This guy has programmed a fantastic achievement, a poker AI bot, where he came third in the tournament recently. So congratulations to Azure Mist for his programming achievements. Okay. I was telling him I once programmed a basic chess program in the Atari ST, but the internal quality was so bad I couldn't change it anymore because I'd welded the user interface with the sort of engine in inverted commas. It could only basically try and it was not very good anyway. So I don't think it could checkmate anyone, and I don't even know where my Atari ST is anymore. I gave it away recently. So okay, so knight takes d4. Bishop b3 is without, no, it's with knight a5. Knight a5 is possible with bishop b3. I'm just wondering about this c2 pawn. It's going to be tortured soon, isn't it? Now, why play there? Why play there? I want to play bishop d2. Is he going to h5? Is this queen being a bit cheeky on h5? I'm just going to kick it. What, queen h4? Is that the idea? Is that the idea? Seriously, queen h5 to h4. Is that the idea? Okay. My main concern was actually structurally this c2 pawn, because it is like a target backward pawn on a semi-open file. That was my main concern for the moment. Otherwise, I'm liberating this bishop soon with f5. In fact, I'm going to go crazy over here just to demonstrate f5. G-file, thanks very much. Okay, let's get out of this pin scenario and try and pin this bishop with rook g1. Yes. Pin the pawn. Rook g8, there's e takes actually, for this bishop takes rook. E takes becomes possible. On f takes, d takes. That's intriguing. What is happening here? Interesting. I'm wondering if I can play rook g7. This diagonal seems potentially sensitive on rook g7. If I played rook g7, queen f2, rook g1, there isn't a c3 just yet because the queen's protected. How can I get onto this diagonal? He's facilitated rook g8 for sure. Queen f2, there might even be d3 hitting my queen. Queen g3, let's imagine rook g8, any outrageous but useful forcing moves on queen g3 if I did have another move. f5, f5, bishop e5, queen's evicted, bishop's locked in, queen h4, looking at h7, bishop's far away from h7. Black seems to be pretty stable at the moment. I can play check, I can take on d4, and that diagonal opens up here. You know what? I'm doing it. Exchange sack time. I want to open up this diagonal. Let's calculate king h6. I was calculating bishop c3, a queen sack, but just for the moment, let's take here. On e5, there's bishop c3. If ed, bishop d4 check. On king h8, there's bishop c3. Oh, this one's a concern. But there's knight there's knight e6 check. Yeah, there's knight e6 check. If king h8, there's bishop c3 check. This looks crushing. Was queen g5 here? Yeah, that was dangerous to take out the defensive bishop. I think it has to be checked. It has to be checked all the time. Taking out the dark square bishop. It did light up the diagonal. Thanks very much, Azumist. Spike. Okay. Hi, Spike. All right. Is Spike ready? Is streaming my profession? The question. I'm actually streaming on quite a few servers at the moment. Quite enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's my profession because I've got my own. I meant to castle. I've got my own server. I've got my own correspondence style server. It's not in direct competition with anything that I play on. But I should have castled there. I did actually mean to castle, but anyway, I have to try and make the best out of this position. Okay. Mouse slip. I can tell you the quick story though, but I'll probably lose even more pieces telling the story. It's a bit of a risk. Or things, I don't know, how long a sec. Knight c6. Something's a little bit something. Have I got anything? Basically bishop e2, and then he's on d5. He's protecting against bishop f3. Just bishop e2. Yeah. Alright, since my rook's on h8, can I set up a fishing pole? Temptation. Given my rook is now on h8, which wasn't intended. Let's pin this knight. I don't know. I've got to try and restrain my opponent from hitting d5 too hard, or at least create some weaknesses on his camp, in his camp. Please strengthen d5. Please take on c6 to strengthen d5. You know you want to. This might be good news for me. Good news alert. I've won a piece, it seems. There's been a spike in evaluation. It's not funny, but I try. Okay. Can I take on d3 and then play a6? Am I worried about anything in particular? Can I support this and then support it again if needed? And get this rook out like this to g6. Unless I'm getting zapped, just make sure I'm not getting zapped. I'm hoping this is okay for rook g6. Can I not take that? The knight's holding e8. Take with the king here to hold f5. I've got to watch out for queen b8 check, I guess. At the moment, I'll be threatening rook e6, because if takes, then there's rook e1. Just rook e6, just to shield the e file. Thanks for the game, Spike. Oh. Okay, I better try and play a position opening here, just to try and keep things more solid than usual. I think would be a good policy sometimes. Oh, I don't mind about the f4 square. Oh. b4 takes, queen b3. b4 takes, queen b3, c5, and knight g6 idea. We'll just rook b1 for b4. I think intuitively I like my position, but specifically, have I got something to worry about? Trying to disrupt the pawn chain. Keep things locked down. I want to lock down this bishop. I don't want to liberate the e pawn. Queen b3 seems sensible. Is it? Is there something horrible about that? Bishop e6, there's d5. The knights are not doing something naughty at the moment, so I'll go with queen b3. Is there knight b5 and bishop a3? Yeah. It is with tempos. I like the queenside pressure directed along the diagonal. c5 check needs to be investigated. On d5 here, doesn't that just win d6? Queen moves and take on d6. Bishop takes is on the rook. As bishop takes on d6, queen e6. Well, it's very tempting. There's knight c7 minimum. I don't think rook d6 works. Knight c7 minimum. Queen moves. Well, queen b6 is possible, it seems. Or knight c8, but the bishop's not doing anything. Queen b6 might be better. I don't think I'm getting blasted on queen b6. There's queen a4. I don't see much else at the moment. If I take, knight takes, there's queen b7. Rook takes, there's queen b7. I think I might as well take here to weaken b7. Take on b7. I don't think there's any forcing move with rook b8. Well, queen b5 just to keep a grip on things. It's queen d6, there's queen e8, checkmate. On queen d8, actually there's d6, because if queen takes d6, queen e8, checkmate. Yeah, c takes, knight takes, b6, blockade. Rook takes instead. Rook takes c4, check. Might be better. I think that's a better way to go, because it exchanges off the rook or nasty pin. Okay, the bishop, I can play d6 here, or just castle. I think d6. And bishop f1. Okay. Probably rook g1 is useful. Just give me rook g7. On knight f2. I'm wondering about bishop h3. I don't want to lose on time either. Bishop e2, check, king c2. Let's play this or not. Well, I'll have to do something. I'm not sure that's brilliant, but it gives me rook c1, check, king e1. I'll blockade. There's rook c8 here. Alright, I'll just go for this one. Knight e6. Okay, can I not just take? Was that? Let's hold on. I don't want everything attacked at once. So rook g7, king d8, rook c8. I'll go around this way. Rook h8 threatened. Seems a little bit clearer. Because king e7, rook h7, winning the rook. Just give up the rook. It's not stalemate. Well, can't see what black's doing. Oh no, it's going to be stalemate at this rate now. He's got d5 if he takes. He's got d5. It's not stalemate just yet. He's got d5. Thanks again. That was a tough game. Thanks, brilliant. Tough game. Butterfly, hi there. Whew. Butterfly, hi there. Let's try Alakite in defense. Bit of variety. I'm going to throw a bit of variety. It's 3 minutes each, huh? Going for a slightly quicker time control. Right, white is aware of the annoyance of bishop g4, but there's another way of playing this I've discovered. Instead of having to play h3, you can just play, well, okay, I haven't got time to explain it, but there are other systems there. This is how I used to play it with white, you see, that's why I thought I'd mention it. There's a Karpov system which doesn't involve h3 that quickly. It's beyond the scope of this 3-minute game to talk about it. But anyway, okay, I think black's okay here. Famous last words. Is black really okay here? Am I really saying that? Black might be okay here, it's better to say. Trying to revoke some weaknesses, extra weaknesses. Yeah, I'm just wondering. Knight b5, knight c5, there's b4. If I can lock down with a5 and knight c5, but it's not going to be permitted, there's b4 immediately. There's knight e4 there. Knight b8, there's c5. Oh, let's go with this. This is dodgy territory because I don't like the knight there on e4 particularly. But it does hold against a little bit c5. I might just take on d5. I'm just wondering, bishop d3, the knight can be targeted. a6, the knight's not going to c3, but a3, g5. If knight d2, I might just take. Just wondering about this liability aspect of this knight. It does sort of discourage c5 from white, which is kind of thematic. Okay, the knight's about to be trapped quite simply with f3. Let's kick this for a moment. It goes to a3, right, to keep the trap going. Okay, relieves the knight of the trap. Try and lock down the dark squares here with b6 against c5 break. This looks much better, stable, without c5 destroying the position. I don't mind knight f5. Some more weaknesses. That's good news. Can I play f5? e4 immediately threatens. f4 might be better. e4 is tempting. I mean, okay, e4 for f4. That's a point. I'll have the e5 square anyway. Let's go with e5 square. Oh, I thought you just take on e4. Well, what I'm going to do is just get rid of this knight because I can't stand it. Yeah, he's on pre-move mode, I see. Well, knight d3. Take a few things off. The bishop's hanging. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the game there, Butterfly. Work hard, play hard. So, hoping it will work this time. This game invite. Did we try it earlier? I wonder if you've got a new version of the browser. No, we are in a game. Classical variation of the French. Knight a4. Keep doing this line automatically. This is risky for me. I've played it before, and it's risky. What I'm most concerned about is f5 and the f file generally when you take that poison pawn. Here it doesn't really matter about knight c7 check because I've got cd and bishop b4 coming up. Essentially, I'm not sure it matters that much at the moment. I'm not too terrified. I'm wondering, actually, I can go here and here. I'll take the queens off and then go bishop a5 to safeguard c7. It's not okay. Nicking pawns here, being naughty, nicking pawns. I'll take this off. There's knight d4 first. I'll take the knight d4. There's always knight b3 anyway. Knight c7 again. Harmless because of knight b3 after. Knight b6, c5. I'll just take first to open up this diagonal. Alright, so knight b6 or a6. And b5 for bishop b7. Gives me a tempo. Don't want infiltration. Stop infiltration with rook c7. Knight c5 might be useful for knight d3 with a pin coming up on d4. These passed pawns could be used. There's rook d4 here for knight b3, winning. Rook d4, immediate threat. Rook c5. Rook c5 is possible. Forcing moves win a lot of blitz games. Need to be calculated. You guys should pay attention to forcing moves. That's really, I mean, it's one of my classic advice actually from years of doing my channel. I think at one point I had this concept of a docking computer just to emphasize about forcing moves. I wasn't using a computer. No, the idea was just like, sometimes it's like in Elite, you can just go on autopilot with forcing moves. They just seem to win sometimes. And they're the easiest to calculate. You've got to calculate them. These two connected pass pawns. Basically, I'm just going to move the knight back and then just roll these pawns forward. Okay, thanks for the game. But yeah, I think that's a bit dubious, my taking the pawn actually. I don't think I'm playing that soundly to take that. It's provocative. It's more of a cautionary type game. It's not. I don't think it's sound what I did actually. Thanks for the game. Moby. I always blunder attacks with you. Thanks. Is Moby ready? Moby ready? I'm sick of playing the Smith-Morra. I'm going to play anything else apart from the Smith-Morra. I'm going to play b3. What is this called? I forgot what it's called. I'm going to play it. It's Snyder variation, I think. I think it might be called Snyder variation. Very different character to normal Sicilians. It's more like a French defense. I don't know what can double fin Chateau here. Probably, I don't think the bishop's doing anything on c4. Knight b6 is just driving it back. I think just g3, bishop g2. One advantage of the Snyder variation in blitz is that clearly it causes opponents to think a little bit more. It's not bog standard. I think I'm content with just overprotecting e5. As I say, overprotects the central point. It means all your pieces are then automatically centralized and coordinated. e5 is the classic central point. Can I not just win a pawn here? I don't see my king getting battered because of the rook g8 particularly. So knight e4 is also means I'm either winning the bishop or going into f6. Now going into f6 here, rook g6, or I can play c4 or c4. I'll wait for f5 to weaken e6. c4 can take some knight c4. There's pin. If I play queen e2 for the moment, it sort of unpins the d pawn, which means c4 could follow without allowing knight c4s. Any f5 weakens e6. I seem to do that twice myself with black recently in blitz, just weaken e6. It was ridiculous, but okay. Rook c1 for c3, f5 again. Oh, there's knight d2. Now c4 here might be better than c3. Does he really want to take en passant? In fact, if he takes en passant, do I really want to play rook c3? What about bishop c3 instead? There's bishop a5. Bishop a5 here looks good. The check looks good for rook c7. That rook on the 7th is usually crushing. With rook c7 there's a nasty pin. On king a8, bishop e5 just seems better than bishop a5. Although I can't see any answer to bishop a5. Hang on. King a7, queen e3. And there's no answer to that pin. On knight d5, yeah, he could sack the exchange. So bishop a5 looks pretty destructive. Oh, it does. Okay, it does. I can't deny it. I mean, winning the exchange, I mean, if knight d5 is black's best, I think I should just take the exchange and play knight c5. That would take out black's bishop pair. Takes. Yeah. I mean, check is, I mean, that check, I missed out on rook c7. That's my one thing about this. The check for rook c7 was interesting, but, I mean, I'm going to take the rook. Rook was better. Oh well. There's queen d3 here. Oh, there's knight c5. Trying to win more material. Not knight c5 here. That would be an embarrassing accident. f5 is now on the cards. Have I messed this up? f5's on the cards. Oh boy. There's rook c1. I don't know. There isn't. There's I missed that. Is that queen e3? What am I hoping for? I don't know. Some sort of attack against the king here. It's still not materially massive for either side, I think. Takes, queen moves somewhere. check. King moves there. I don't know what to say. Okay, to that move, I don't know what to say. We're waiting. Okay, I'll play bishop c5 as a waiting move soon. Okay, he's not taking. I won't take the knight. Oh, I just dropped bishop instead. Oh, that was clever. I didn't notice that was the idea. Oh, great. I'm really blundering here. Alright, I've got to get things. I've got to get back on the horse tactically to try and look at what's going on there. Okay, it's too much. What is going on? Hang on a sec. Is f3 now? Okay. f3 is the major liability. Okay, I don't want to lose on time either. It's losing possession, losing on time. I get the queens off. Pawn. No, it's not. I lost the plot. I completely lost the thread of what was going on. I must admit, I lost it. That was brilliant. I completely lost the plot. The queen c6 for f5 business. So getting a tempo on my loose bishop for f5. Brilliant. Could have gone either way. I'm declining this challenge from a non-full member. You have to be a premium member. I'll decline that in advance of any accidents. And here, you have to be a premium member, guys. Don? Hi, Don. I'm going to play Roy Lopez to celebrate the World Championship match. Otherwise I wouldn't play it. No, let's play the Roy Lopez just for fun. Apparently it's tried and tested. How does it go? It's good to... you can feel the grooves of well-trodden paths when playing this. The millions of games from this position, sort of position. That's what I've been missing out on. This reassurance of playing something that's very well trodden. Instead I play other systems against e5. King's Gambit, Scotch game, anything actually to avoid Roy Lopez. What have I been missing out on? I'm going to play this. weaknesses. Less than usual move. It's there's a classic towel game in this line. Knight outpost on d5. It was mentioned in Steen's simple chess book. It's against Bronstein. And in fact, Bronstein played g6, and I've video annotated the game recently. This is creating some dark square weaknesses. So the potential of knight d5 as a frat here to unleash white's pieces is dangerous. In fact, here it looks as though knight d5 is good here. My things are getting unleashed here. My bishops are getting unleashed. Is that really possible? I guess it is. It looks pretty solid, actually. d5 looks as though I'm going to be losing d5 soon if I'm not careful. Can I play? This is crazy. Actually, it probably is. I don't know what I'm doing now. What am I doing with this move? I'm just hanging things. It's bishop b4. My point was bishop b3, but he's got bishop b4. This whole thing with b4 is doubtful. Black seems to have a very good position. Try and create some weaknesses over here if I play this caveman move. This is awful. I'm just creating weaknesses after weakness. Bishop g4 now, it's possible. Or bishop g3. I'm wondering knight g2. Oh, there's rook h8 following knight g2. Oh. Check. Am I getting mated? I don't like this. If I take on c4 first before doing anything, I want to have bishop e3 available. If I play knight g2, and it's queen h2 after taking. There's bishop f4 there to try and safeguard h2. Is that queen e4? Can I actually get back in this game or not? Am I going to get mated? Just queen e4 for queen e7. Queen e4, rook e8. Alright, I'll go with this. Slightly improved from earlier when I thought I was going to get mated. Rook c1, d6. Bishop g5 to bear in mind. There's knight e3 on c2. Alright, probably interesting. I'll play bishop g3 and try and get a stable position with d6. Or there's actually queen a7 check in this position. King g8 doesn't do much. Queen wants to go round. There's bishop g5 here. Doesn't do anything. Can I avoid getting mated? I wonder. I don't want the queen visiting h3 in a hurry. Get my king out of here, I lose the rook. There's d6 for queen d5 to try and hold h1. And it's bishop e4 check after that, queen h3. There's king h2 there. King h2. The question is knight c7, f4 knight. Am I getting mated if I did that to f4? Right, there's rook c7. Sign of relief. Yeah, I was nearly terminated. Thanks. I was nearly terminated. This might be a good time to stop. It's 2 o'clock. Thanks. I've been a lucky bunny today. Yeah, I've definitely been a lucky bunny today. I'll put on my lucky bunny thing anyway. Yep, I was definitely a lucky bunny in many of these games, I admit. That's my confession. I was a lucky bunny, especially in this last game. Okay, I just had to try and avoid getting mated. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the games and the World Championship, which is currently on. So brilliant commentary by Chess24, and well done to Chess24 generally for not being bullied by Aegon. And the injunction I held was dropped, thankfully, so that's brilliant. Good news for the chess world there on the World Championship front. So comments, questions, likes appreciated, and see you next week. Thanks very much.